You want to hear my favorite song by my favorite band?
No, but I don't think I have a choice.
Ah, the Beatles. Aren't they great?
No.
No, they're not. No, they're not. That was the joke.
What is that? What are you drinking today?
Coffee.
And?
I've got a little artificial sweetener here.
Ruben, the Iconodong is back. Can you find it?
Just going to use
if you
this
didn't
as
already
a chaser.
say in the chat that the Iconodong is back at this point, even though it's only been 10 seconds, you have to drink. Can I get a sip of that Fireball, even though it's disgusting?
No, this is artificial sweetener.
Oh, yeah, no free ads. You look incredible today. I'm lying, but you look incredible today.
Oh, I know you're lying, because I know that I look exactly the way that I feel.
What amphetamines are you on these days? Chloroform?
Yeah, chloroform's a notorious amphetamine. That's what the Nazis were taking during World War II, and that's why they were able to do the Blitzkrieg.
Did you know that cockroaches can live for 4 days without their head?
I'm pretty sure that we had that conversation on the show before.
Well, it came in my head.
A cockroach came in your head?
Well, no, that just popped in my head.
They're supposed to tap you on the top of the head before they come.
Who is?
Anything that's coming in your head.
How many times have you been cummed in your head? Coming.
For business or pleasure?
Cockroaches have 2 brains, just like dinosaurs.
We for sure have had this conversation before.
I don't know if we talked about it on the show.
No, I'm sure that we did. I'm sure that we did. I don't fucking know. We're almost close to 100 episodes now.
If you were sure, you'd know what episode.
Touche.
Maybe it got cut out.
Possibly.
A lot of things get cut out of this show.
Yeah.
Especially when we say
Welcome to the Iconoblast podcast. This is the show that takes a look behind the public facades of famous icons to show you why you can never take anything at face value. My name is Matt Cooper, and sitting across from me is Joel. You can't say that over the top of the intro.
Why not?
We're trying to make money off of this.
I'll bleep it out.
You want to get canceled? Well, then people are going to think that it's something even worse than what you said.
Okay. Well, I won't bleep it out then. All I said was...
Iconoblast! We put the past on blast! Hit them with the truth, with things you never knew. Nobody is safe, no thing to place. Got Joel and Coop with history in your face. Iconoblast!
Coop,
Yeah.
I'm trying to pretend like I'm happy, but we're both sad right now. We can just be honest about it. Nope, I'm in a great mood.
Can we be honest about it?
No, not at the top. We have to be...
Well, no, is it like... I just imagine that you tune into your favorite podcast, which is obviously the Iconoblast podcast.
Mm-hmm. We actually had some listeners in today that said it was their favorite show on the network, which made me feel good.
Well, we also got to meet some listeners yesterday. The one and only Davy Jones from the fucking Monkees.
Dude, drove all the way from San Diego. And
he looks amazing for his age.
He's 48?
No, he's got to be way older than that. The Monkees were around in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
84.
Yeah, he must be around 84, 85 or something. Whatever he's doing, I would love to get his workout routine and his skincare routine, and possibly have him just choke me to death. So
I'd suck his dick if I was gay. There's hard days and there's good days, but when the show happens, it's supposed to be a good day.
Good days?
Yes.
What's that?
The days we record the show. Once a week.
No, that's true.
A good day. It's the only time.
That is a
we need to be happy,
very welcome
and free,
break.
And juicy for the people that need us, because there's a lot of people way worse off than us.
Oh,
and they need us.
Tons
so we
of
have to
people way
pretend
worse
to be
off than
happy
us.
at the top of the show.
All
I
right.
realize all it takes is the first 10 minutes. At the end of the show, we can go deep into the heart of the truth, which I'm going to do tonight.
Oh, God. So
Yeah,
that's what we have to look forward to?
Well, I don't want to... The show, I think half the show is you learn something, and the other half is that we're best friends and we're not fucking faking it on the show.
No, we...
So at the end of the show, I'm going to tell all my secrets, all of them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So stay tuned for the end.
Stay tuned for the train wreck at the end of the episode.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, so we're...
another thing, too, I got 3 or 4, maybe more, DMs from people being like, why didn't you wrote the Macho Man episode, why didn't you make fun of Coop? That's like, what we love about when you write the shows is that you fuck with Coop.
Well, explain to him why.
Why I didn't?
Mm-hmm.
With the Macho Man one?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't.
Oh, so you didn't even do that on purpose? It just didn't happen?
No.
I thought you were like, oh, there's no way that Coop can deal with this right now.
Oh, fuck no.
I can't. So you don't
Dude, we've been friends for 20 years. You've been in this rut before. Do you think I'm going to go easy on you?
Oh,
If I felt I needed to go easy on
sometimes.
you, no, I'm nice to you sometimes, but when someone's at their worst, you gotta just fucking light them up. Because they can't take it. They're not worthy of being your friend.
It cleans up the gene pool also.
No, I'm just kind of an asshole. But it's how our relationship works. You put up with me being an asshole. I put up with you ruining your life seems to be every 6 years.
It seems to be a fairly one-sided relationship. I put up with you being an asshole, and you just put up with me going through mental health crises. Is what
Yeah,
you're
well,
getting at?
you call it a mental health crisis. I call it something else.
What? Define it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end of the show. You know.
Oh God! So I'm gonna go home sad tonight. Is what I'm figuring out.
No.
I've been
It's
doing
just,
that a lot.
everyone's different. There's pedophiles. There's
Whoa!
there's-
Why was that
there's,
Why was
you
that
know,
the top of
Men
the
of
list?
Honor, or what's it called when you get the little honor badge? There's
You mean
knights.
the Congressional
Yeah.
Medal of Honor?
There's Knights of the Round Table, and then there's fucking fake white knights. There's bitches. There's leaders. There's cowards. And there's angels.
I think we're getting way too deep at the top of the episode. We're supposed to be talking about the Crow right now.
We are.
And of all things, the Crow.
It fits.
I was confused about the episode topic until I got some of the information. I had no idea that the Crow is technically kind of
loosely
based on a true story.
Yeah.
I mean, not somebody coming back from the dead, because Brandon Lee is definitely not coming back from the dead. He would have done so by now.
Before we start, you ever fucked a dude?
No.
Would you fuck a mermaid? Just kidding.
Jesus
I've already asked
Christ. When someone says The Crow, most people think of the 1994 film starring Brandon Lee, and usually within the same sentence, the conversation of how Brandon Lee was shot and killed while filming. We will dive into this and a few other curious things, including how Brandon Lee's father, Bruce Lee, was also killed while making a movie, and how the original writer of the 1980s comic book series, James O'Barr, has a similar story as well. O'Barr takes personal responsibility for the death of Brandon Lee because he believes the comic book and the movie was cursed since its creation.
Ooh,
James
spicy.
O'Barr is a fucking murderer. If you
Let me
want
tell you
to
that everyone involved in all the deaths and murders or whatever you want to call them,
all
he's the
associated
only-
with the Clintons,
no, but he's the only one that's still alive.
still alive.
Oh no, that's not true. Brandon Lee's almost fiance or almost wife is still alive too, I think.
That is the true curse of the Crow, is everyone still being alive that was associated with it. I mean, I like
Come
that
on,
movie
The Crow's
though.
fucking awesome.
It was good. I'm just saying that's.
Wait, what are your real thoughts on The Crow, the movie?
I think that it was good for the era that it came out.
It was 1994.
Yeah, it was good for the era that it came out, and then movies like
When's the last time you watched it?
when was the last time I watched a movie in general?
Well, you watch Starship Troopers at least once a week.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
when did that
that's
come
a
out?
given. That came out in 1997.
96. Oh, 7?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 years later, and it's just as good.
What?
No, The Crow's not as good as Starship Troopers. I'll say that myself.
Thank you.
Well, it's
I know you're saying that for my sake because you know that I will get up and walk the fuck out of here.
no. I believe that Starship Troopers is the better film, but The Crow has this. All the reason why I wanted to do this episode and stuff, and why I wrote this, is because of the energy of death and like the weird feeling. All this horrible. We're gonna find out about all this horrible shit that happened on the set, to Brandon, to the writer's fucking wife, to Brandon's dad. There's so much death and fucked up shit, and the movie's dark and fucked up and about death. And when you watch the movie, even now, I just watched it again because I haven't watched it in 10 years. It still fucked me up. It's still there's a curse on it, and it's true. There's like a because of all the negativity around the project, the movie has a vibe. It has this dark rooted. Like I don't have the vocabulary to explain it. When you watch it, it feels depressing right off the bat, and it's a fucking superhero movie.
Well, yeah, it's essentially it's a long form music video for The Cure. Of course, it's going to be depressing.
It's a superhero film. It's literally a comic book. It's a movie made from a comic book. It's a superhero movie, an anti-hero movie. It's the best one, in my opinion, of all of them. Yeah, I said that.
You're going to tell me that The Crow is better than the Hulk movie with Eric Bana?
It's better than the one with Fight Club guy.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember his name. He's a good actor, though.
The Nazi.
Edward Furlong.
Yeah.
If you aren't a fan of The Crow, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee, Black Leather, Blackbirds, Rain, guitar solos, face paint, death, or Devil's Night, then maybe this episode isn't for you. No, this episode is for you. Just stay tuned.
Just leave.
No,
Fuck y'all.
Please don't leave. Please don't leave. Don't leave.
This is your problem. This is your problem at its core.
Why would you put that in there? You know that was.
It's true.
It was going to trigger.
If you don't want to hear about weird, depressing, dark shit in movies from the '90s, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, maybe for this one episode. No, don't leave. We need the
Unsubscribe.
The views. No, god damn it. We need listeners. We need subscribers. You know what? Instead of unsubscribing, how about you just like force all your family members at gunpoint to subscribe to the Iconoblast,
take their phones and subscribe to it.
Iconoblast podcast YouTube channel, and also the Iconoblast podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. Devil's Night isn't just a made-up holiday from the film. It actually dates back as early as the 1940s. Oh, the greatest,
right. Did you know that?
generations. Greatest generation. No, I actually didn't know that. But outside
Devil's Night.
When I
Fire it up.
First read through
Fire
this.
it up. Fire it up. Do you remember that from the movie?
Oh, too bad we don't have any bullets to swallow right now.
I would do it. Wait, there's probably a gun here. Loaded.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Holloway works here.
This is the Drinking Bros studio. There's definitely a gun here somewhere.
Yeah. Wait, so you didn't know that Devil's Night was a real thing? I want
No.
to talk about that for a second. I think a lot of people didn't know that.
I dare say that nobody outside of the people that made The Crow knew that Devil's Night was a real. Actually, I think that a lot of people that made The Crow didn't know that Devil's Night was a real thing.
I knew it was a real thing when the movie came out.
In 1994,
Yes.
when you were
It became a real thing for me the very next year. In 1995, Devil's Night happened in Camarillo, California.
the same way that Fight Club's a real thing and The Matrix is a real thing.
Yeah.
And, emulating a movie doesn't make it a real thing. Well,
If you do something, it's real.
okay, if you want to get into semantics, yes, it's going to make it real, but
Oh, in a virtual world's real.
okay, but you're telling me that in 1994 you knew that this was a real occurrence back in the 1940s,
When I watched the movie,
which I dare say that in 1994 you didn't even realize that the 1940s were like an
it didn't.
era.
But when I watched the movie, I knew that it was all real. Like actual in my consciousness. I was like, this is fucking real. And this is awesome. And next year on fucking Devil's Night, I'm going to burn some shit. 100%. And I did.
I don't know if everything in the movie is real because I saw Brandon Lee get shot a bunch of times in the movie and he always came back. Real life, he
I'm
didn't
talking
come
about my
back.
consciousness as a human in 1994.
Oh, you're talking about like The Secret. If you think about it and you focus
No,
on
I'm
it,
talking
you
about I was like
manifest it and
fucking
you make it real.
14. And I believed it.
You were
So to me, it was real.
You're 14 years old in 1994?
Well, I don't know. I was born in 82, so I was 12. Is that math correct?
Jesus Christ, you're old.
I
Basically,
was born in the 90s. You were 4 when the movie came out because you're a
I
child.
was born in 1984.
No, you were born in
I was born in
1992.
1984.
You're a child.
The greatest year because that is the year that George Orwell's book was based off of.
No, the best year to be born is 1982 because that's the year that Conan the Barbarian was made.
I dare say that
Conan the Barbarian is
1982 is not the best year to be born because somebody born in 1982
Is who?
is torturing me. Who do you think I'm talking about?
am doing my best.
Basically, the idea for Devil's Night is on the night before Halloween, you get together with all your best bros and prepare for a night of destruction. Usually this consisted of mild vandalism such as egging, TPing, ding-dong ditching, and fiery poop bags on doorsteps. But over time, this escalated into much more fun.
Yeah.
Straight up fucking murder.
Arson.
Oh, arson.
And, well, there was
Yeah,
deaths.
Yeah, generally when people catch on fire, they die.
Yeah.
By the 70s and 80s, Devil's Night became much more than throwing toilet paper at your economic teacher's house. In Detroit, Devil's Night became a national pastime. Yeah, go figure, fucking Detroit.
Gangster, dude.
Detroit
what?
There's two.
Isn't that where Eminem's from?
Yeah, there are two assholes of the United States, and one of them is Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and Lawton,
Detroit?
Oklahoma by proxy, and the other one is Detroit.
Sweet.
Detroit
Nice.
used to be Detroit used to be like an amazing center of fucking productivity and wealth and
Yeah, it made the
like,
Crow.
generating American cars and things like that. Look at Detroit now. Look at a comparison of Detroit
Can't rain all the time.
between two. I knew that was going to happen at some point during this episode. Interestingly enough, after a brutal Devil's Night in 1994, the year from which The Crow released, the mayor of Detroit declared, and I quote, "We will no longer tolerate arson in our city." Yeah, good luck, buddy. You did a great job with that.
Yeah.
I've never seen Detroit burning. Detroit city officials organized a group with as many as 50,000 volunteers a year to combat Devil's Night and tried to rename the night Angel's Night.
Yeah.
I don't think that worked. Those assholes ruined all the fun. By 2010, the Devil's Night fires decreased to a smoldering 169 fires.
Yeah,
Is that
at the peak, it was 810 in one night.
810
Yeah.
in one night?
Yeah. And then they had like there was a moment when they like got it down, and then the next year the mayor was like, "Oh, I stopped Devil's Night. It's Angel's Night now, or Halloween Eve." And then there was like no fires that night because they had so many people stopping it. And the next year, it went from 40,000 volunteers to 4,000 volunteers, and there was like 300 fires.
Oh, he was like, yeah, mission accomplished. Nobody else needs to do any work. And then everything got all fucked
And then
up.
it just went
Everybody
right
stopped
back.
working.
Yeah,
No, that makes sense.
yeah.
So at the peak of Devil's Night in 1994, a movie called The Crow came out. The plot of the film also happens to take place on, you guessed it,
Devil's Night.
Devil's Night.
Yeah, I heard about Devil's Night. The little girly guys, because they got there and they started the fires and the yeah.
Yeah,
That was
me
for
too.
Ruben, so because I know Ruben makes a giant cocktail for this show, and I wanted him to drink.
You know, I've noticed over time, especially recently, like we used to be so much more culturally insensitive and
Getting
have
soft,
so
dude.
many more.
Well, we're off topic.
Arnold
We're
quotes
off.
and-
We're off of the dangerous topics. We got to get back into something heavy.
Martin Luther King.
Let's do that next.
We got to do Martin Luther King next. Whew, everybody is going to have alcohol poisoning by the end of that episode.
Yeah.
And we're also probably going to be disowned by our families by the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Martin Luther
we'll-
King,
We'll get Dan Holloway on that episode too.
yeah, he did a lot of good things.
He beat his wife.
Yeah, he was also very into the ladies
Anal.
of the night. Well, there's nothing wrong with being into anal. It's not my thing, but I'm not going to begrudge anybody else for being into it. You know what?
I wasn't saying it was a negative thing. I was just saying that he was into anal sex.
I just realized that so this is going to be a. So you recall how at one point last night we were hanging out at a bar together, and I was talking about the Holocaust, as I do on most nights.
You always bring that up. It takes one beer.
Show me proof. Show me some fucking proof. No, that's not actually the case. But in just when I was getting ready to make a point, I was like, so I know a lot of people talk a lot of shit about the Nazis and the Holocaust, and then somebody got up and walked away from the table, and immediately the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh wow, that that is a
That is the worst way to
time
end
to
a
walk away from this conversation. Because what I was going to say is the Ustasi and Unit 731 and also some subsets of the German army were exceptionally brutal. Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of Nazis in the German army. There was actually a surprising amount of Nazis in the German army.
But
I had no
aren't
idea
Germans
about
Nazis? Drink.
that. Is that? Yeah, close
That's
enough.
ignorance. It's not true.
If we had to drink every time we were ignorant on the show, then we would kill.
Maybe
all
we
of
need
our
to add more
listeners.
rules because people want to get fucked up on Monday nights, you know?
Do they? Oh, that's my favorite night of the week to drink.
Yeah, Mondays is my new Friday.
Any day that ends with Y is my new Friday. Currently,
I'm just happy that we went to a bar and we still got it. We're still a couple of sweet, handsome dudes, and chicks want to fuck us.
it's not your relationship with other people; it's your relationship with yourself that matters the most.
Just because she had a more powerful mustache than you doesn't mean it wasn't a compliment.
I was so fucking jealous of that mustache. Jesus Christ! I thought that I had like one of those good old like cowboy mustaches, but damn that.
Not compared to her bush.
Yeah, no, not from what I saw.
There was a mustache on each lip.
She was wearing overalls, and
On her ovaries.
and her downstairs mustache was still sticking out of them. I was going to make a point because I was
Have you seen a pussy with the hair on the lips?
What, with the goatee?
Yeah. It's usually above.
I mean, I've seen pictures of it. I've never seen one in person.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, I refuse to look at them because they frighten me.
Yeah, me too.
I always have to close my eyes, and it's sort of like
I've still never seen one close up.
I hope to God I never have to.
They smell weird and they're wet.
But I do.
No,
think
I get what
that-
you're saying. I'm sorry.
I do honestly think that it's very important
You
to be
have
able
to
to
joke
joke about that
everything.
type of
That's how
type
you
of shit
get through
because
the goddamn day.
well, it's not just how you get through the
is
day.
true.
That is a big part of it. Is it makes life a lot easier. But to me, what I think is more important to that societally, like more important about it societally, is that's something that's bringing people together. Like if we can both joke about some topic that is very sensitive for both of us, if we both laugh at the same time, if we can,
Even if we have different opinions about it.
even if we have different opinions about it, if we can both laugh about it at the same time, that's taking power away from something that's negative.
We're still
something
going to stab each
that's
other in
taboo.
the parking lot later, though.
Well, I mean,
It's
yeah,
like
obviously.
temporary. It's like doing drugs with
I mean,
someone you don't like.
You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, but that's the cost of doing business. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know, you got.
No, I get what you're saying.
You got to
Sorry.
shank some motherfuckers sometimes.
Yeah. So anyway.
So The Crow was a huge hit. The visuals were dark and striking. The dark, raining cityscape set a tone unlike any other film. Maybe a mixture of the original Batman and Dark City. I didn't like Dark City.
but just visually.
Visually, yeah, it looked really good. I didn't care.
No, not Dark City. I'm saying the mixture of Batman and Dark City
Oh, visuals
is a good.
wise.
I think it's a good example of.
Oh,
what
you
the-
want to
what
know
the Crow look like?
a controversial opinion that's probably more controversial than my opinions on the Holocaust
That the
and race
Holocaust
relations?
doesn't exist. Yeah.
No, I believe that the Holocaust existed.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it happened. My ancestors were a part of it. I'll let you guess which side they were on.
Drink.
Yeah, I probably should drink for that. Controversial opinion. I don't think I like a single Tim Burton movie.
You don't like the original Batman? I love the original Batman.
Oh, no, I take it back. Okay, I like Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. It was. I mean, Tim Burton had a good run. It was Beetlejuice, Batman, and then everything else sucked.
Oh, yeah, he had a good run. He's fuck ugly, and he ended up with Helena Bonham Carter when she was in her prime.
What else was good that he made? I think it's Batman and Beetlejuice. Oh, Edward Scissorhands was pretty good.
No, not a fan.
It's awesome.
His movies are like if who was the fucking guy that did like The Life Aquatic?
Yeah, he's like Wes Anderson, but dark.
He's like a depressed Wes Anderson that's trying even harder.
See, this is why I know. This is why you don't like him, because it's like it cuts too deep. to
It
home.
hits too close to home. I wish I could be doing that.
Let me get a little piece of that motor oil.
That's the last of my
Oh no,
artificial
you keep
sweetener.
that. I'll get some from the set.
You sure you can?
Yeah, keep reading the shit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab a little bottle off the Drinking Bros set.
As I was saying, The Crow was a huge hit. The visuals were dark and striking. The dark, raining cityscape set a tone unlike any other film up until The Matrix ripped them off. Maybe the mixture of the original Batman and Dark City. It has a creepy, surreal undertone about it that is hard to explain. I can explain it exactly, actually. It's the inspiration for, The Matrix and every other, try-hard, long-form
Yeah.
Cure music video.
What's the main guy in Devo? What's his name? He's become a composer now. He did the
Oh, wait, shit.
he did the score for Thor Ragnarok.
John Williams.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, wrote the
It's-
Jaws theme while he was in Devo.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman,
Danny
that's
Elfman. That's his name. You know, the
Fuck.
funny thing is, it might actually fucking be Danny Elfman. I would
No,
have
no, it's not.
idea.
The-
I have no idea the names of any of the members of Devo.
The name, I'll look it up while we go, because when I say the name, you'll recognize it, but not because of Devo, but because of the movies that he was a part of.
All right, well, I've got a quote
Jesus Christ.
from...
Switch pussy to anal, ass to pussy, fuckholes compilation part 2. That's what I was looking up on my phone last.
You've been at work all day.
I haven't used my phone all day, I swear.
Yeah, I'm sure. So Roger Ebert once said about The Crow, and I quote, what does Roger Ebert sound like? I feel like this should just be subtitles, considering the fact that he had a big piece of his neck removed because of cancer, and he wasn't able to talk anymore for a little while. Anyway, I'm just going to read it out loud because subtitles surprisingly don't work in an audio format. The story exists...
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Wait, Mother's Baugh?
Yeah, Mothersbaugh.
Didn't he do the... He did the song from Rugrats.
Mark Allen Mothersbaugh
I'm pretty sure
is an
that
American composer, singer, and multi-instrumentalist.
if he didn't do the song
He
from
came
Rugrats...
to prominence in the late 1970s as co-founder and lead singer and keyboardist of the new wave band Devo, whose Whip It song was the top 20 single in the U.S. in 1980. Blah, 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 aye. Blah, 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 blah,
blah,
blah,
blah, blah,
aye.
Rugrats.
I'm trying to find his
He
movie
definitely did
shits.
Rugrats.
In addition to Devo, he composed the music for the 13-year run of the animated series Rugrats
Knew it.
and its 3 related theatrical films. Yeah, this dude's badass. He also did fucking Thor Ragnarok score, which is awesome.
Not as good as the Rugrats, though.
No, but it's still good.
So Roger Ebert said, the story exists as an excuse for the production values of the
What the
film.
fuck?
Which are,
He
what?
did the Popeye song.
The original? No, he couldn't have done the
No,
original.
it's okay. No, it says the Popeye's Voyage, the quest for Pappy.
Is that the one with Robin Williams?
I don't know.
You just interrupted Roger Ebert.
Okay, Roger, go ahead.
The story...
He did Pee Wee's
Jesus
Playhouse.
Christ. Oh,
Pee-wee's
wait, no.
Playhouse.
Okay, that's major. The story exists as an excuse for the production values of the film, which are superb. The director, Alex Proyas, and his technical team have created a world that will remind you of the forlorn urban wasteland in Blade Runner and of the gothic extravagance in Batman. Yet this world is grungier and more forbidding than either. It's not often that movies can use miniatures and special effects and sets and visual tricks to create a convincing place rather than just a series of obvious sets. But The Crow does. Were there that many
There's
miniatures in The Crow?
There's one more honorable mention for Mark Mothersbaugh.
What are you going
Dumb and Dumber. The TV show, not the movie.
to... Ooh.
I didn't even know there was a TV
Hey,
show.
they can't all be wins. I had no idea there was a TV show either.
I got to pee so bad. Can we take a quick break?
Well, if you want to go pee, I can keep going through the notes.
No. Just wait for me. I'll cut it out.
Okay. Well, that means we got to go cross streams.
Okay, come on. Let's pee together.
We've had a deal for a while now.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, so Roger Ebert said some shit, and so if you don't know the story of The Crow, it all takes place on Devil's Night in Detroit.
We should do a shot for Roger Ebert. Rest in peace, right?
Should we?
Yeah.
That motherfucker said that video games aren't art.
He was from an old time.
Yeah, and that's why
It's like people now, like me, saying AI is bullshit, virtual reality is bullshit.
No, the reason you say virtual reality is bullshit is because you're not watching VR porn.
Well, I like Roger Ebert, even though he was a cunt, because he had the same movie taste as me.
But he literally said that video games aren't art.
He redacted that statement later.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. R.I.P. Roger Ebert.
He actually did because of right before he died.
The Last of Us?
Yeah. Did
No.
you know that they're remaking that again? On
Have
PS5?
you seen screenshots of it?
Yes! I'm gonna have to play it again.
The graphics are fucking amazing.
It's like a whole new game again.
I can't do that intro. The opening of that game is
Did you
one
play
of
through the second one?
No, I watched you play through it.
I know, but you never did it yourself. You missed a
No,
lot.
it was like watching a movie. Well, if you recall, when we were doing that, that was when we were launching the show. So I was watching you play.
I was researching.
Yeah, I was putting together 13 episodes about Julius fucking Caesar.
Yeah, it almost got us fired.
Yep, I recall. I was there for it.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn.
Don't have to tell me.
It happened.
I was there.
Happened about a year later. So if you don't know the story of The Crow, it all takes place on Devil's Night in Detroit. Eric Draven, played by the now dead Brandon Lee, is ready to marry the woman of his dreams, Shelley Webster. Oh,
She's hot, dude, in the
she
movie.
is hot. But the Devil's Night crew, Funboy, Tintin, Skank, and T-Bird, are busy enjoying their night before Halloween and ruin all of Eric Draven's plans.
Dude, those characters, every single one is awesome.
I think every single one of those names are better than the name Eric Draven.
Yeah, but they never say his name except for like one time.
One time is enough. They should have just called him Eric.
It was his name in the comic. They stuck with it.
All right,
But that-
got to stick with the source
all the
material.
bad
Okay,
guys,
so
the gang.
my gripe is with the comic author as opposed to the filmmakers.
Thank you. What about the characters though? Tintin, Funboy. You don't remember them. I just watched the movie again because I was writing this. But
No, I remember Tintin. He's that weird British cartoon with the fucking dog. Or no, he's the canine cop. Is it German Shepherd?
Tintin is the knife throwing black guy.
He's the one that's out in the woods that Dorothy gives oil. He's asking for the oil can. He's got an axe.
Let's just get back to the information. Jesus Christ.
I hardly ever watch movies.
You watched The Crow when you were a kid, though.
Yeah, first time I ever saw The Crow was actually when I went into you remember movie rental places like Blockbuster and stuff like
Warehouse.
that? First time I ever saw, well, Warehouse was a music store. I don't think they
They had
did.
movies and music.
Did they do rentals?
Oh, maybe only.
I didn't
to
have
buy.
one in my hometown. We didn't even have a Blockbuster.
I would
in
go
my
to Warehouse
hometown.
for cassettes. Jesus, I'm old. And I would go to Blockbuster for movies.
I would go to White Horse Music for
Or Sam Goody.
cassettes. No, my hometown, like there wasn't even a McDonald's
You
in my
didn't
hometown.
see The Crow in the theater?
No, God no. My parents would never let me watch anything like that.
Was it rated R? It must have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah,
it
it's
was.
super violent. I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah, we didn't have any name brand stores in my hometown outside of, we had one Safeway, and that was the only name brand store. Everything else were little mom and pop shops. There was 1,500 people in the town. So like when the first major event that I remember in my hometown was when the Rite Aid was opened. That was the first place that I ever saw a Spawn comic book. I was
Yeah.
traumatized by it because I was raised in a Christian cult. So seeing any sort of violence on paper was
crazy.
was horrifying.
Yeah.
Outside of the violence that's in the Bible, surprisingly, the Bible is essentially
Well, it's written, so it's easier.
it's a little bit easier to
Each
handle.
step
But
makes it
if
worse.
if you translate that,
So wait,
that
when was
like
the last time
Old
you saw The
English into-
Crow?
Fuck, I have no idea.
Fuck, you should watch it, man. It's a really good movie.
I don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah, but you can if you want to.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to. I watch stupid documentaries on YouTube about like weird, interesting facts that, well, at least facts that are interesting to me. Jesus Christ, I had somebody
Okay, Coop.
I had somebody close to me.
I don't watch movies.
I had somebody close to me the other day tell me directly to my face, like, "Oh yeah, you're really boring." And at first I was offended, and then I was like, "Ah, shit, no, you're right. I get it."
Did you see the new Top Gun in
No,
the theater like you were supposed to?
nope.
Yeah, you are boring.
Yeah.
And you're kind of a cunt.
Okay, that's taking it a
Continue.
step too far. Shelley is raped and murdered, and Eric Draven is thrown from their high-rise apartment window to his death. Lucky. A year later, once again on Devil's Night, Eric Draven rises from his grave and goes on a killing spree, murdering anyone involved with the murder of his soon-to-be wife and all of their friends, too. There ain't no coming back.
There ain't no coming back.
There ain't no coming back.
Dude, that scene's... So you remember the scenes when you haven't seen this since you
Oh,
were a kid?
yeah, I remember the...
Because they were impactful.
Yeah, I remember the high points
I
of the
wanted
movie.
to make a point that it's a weird... Out of all the movies I saw, like, there's a few movies that stick with you, and The Crow doesn't get talked about. It's like the underdog in this, but The Crow was as impactful to me as Terminator 2 was at the time.
What?
Yes, it's that good, but because it's so weird and dark and fucked up, and it's sort of like nowadays you spend fucking 2 hours on Instagram and you spend 2 hours, 3 hours on Pornhub or X videos like I do, watching porn on your phone.
Were you in a hurry?
No, I've never used Pornhub.
You
I don't
pressed
know
for
why.
time? Really? Wait.
Never, no.
Okay, no, yeah, I gotta admit, Pornhub, like all the shit, it's gotten so fucking mainstream now. Like you can't find.
I don't know about it.
You
I seriously never used
No,
it.
you can't find the
Xvideos.com has been my thing since it came out.
efuck.com still to this day. That's my
That's
go-to.
not. I cannot jerk off to efucked. But anyway, what The Crow? I'm not good at fucking explaining these weird a feeling or any of this, but like The Crow was a special film. That's all. And people forgot about it, but for its time and what it is, even when you watch it now, I just watched it like a few days ago. I was like, oh fuck, this is so crazy. And it's because of the shit we're gonna find out. Like because everyone died in it, because the guy you're watching was already dead when you watched it, and died in the way that it was in the movie, and the fucking the guy that wrote it, his wife died the way that Brandon Lee died. There's all this like human nature. What is it? Human emotion. The shit that you can't write down on a computer. The shit that AI will never understand. The weird.
Oh no, it will.
It won't.
Oh, don't give me.
But you know what I mean. Okay,
Don't-
maybe it will eventually, but it doesn't now.
It will do everything that we can do, and it's going to do it better.
Eventually, but right now,
eventually.
no.
Right
And
now
an
it
animal doesn't know about this. A computer doesn't know about this. The only fucking creature that knows about this are humans. And when that movie came out, it had that in it. Even when I was a little fucking kid, there was something fucked up about the movie. There's movies that are fucked up once in a while. You know, like for example, like Biodome, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh god, Son-in-Law, Encino Man.
You know what I mean? That was a joke, but there's like once in a while there's like a weird. It's impossible for me to explain. Watch The Crow if you haven't. Have perspective because the VFX don't hold up. There's no CGI. It's all practical effects and matte paintings, and miniatures, and they're fucking awesome.
It all looks good.
If you steal movies, if you download movies and you steal them, you can find the Crow 1994 VHS rip. That's the best version because when they shot the film, they knew it was coming out on VHS.
And you can actually see the tracking errors in the rip that you get.
Well, no, but you know what you can get away with. Like nowadays, you shoot in 4K, so you can't get away with anything. Everything has to look perfect.
You have to have much better special effects.
In the 90s, when you were shooting film and shooting on film or shooting a film, you knew it was being released on VHS. So you could have a plastic knife as clear as day, but when you saw it on VHS, it looked real.
It's going to be all fucking blurry.
If you get the remastered version of the Crow,
you're watching it at like less than 480p.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you get the remastered version of the Crow, it like takes away from the film because everything looks fake. Like you can tell it's miniatures. When I saw that as a kid, there's like flying cityscape shots of Detroit, quote unquote, at the time, but it looks like London, and everything's on fire, and it's so fucking cool. Like it, that's what Roger Ebert said in his quote too. It was like the one thing that he said. He kind of made. If you read his entire review, he gave it a 3.5 star instead of a 4 star, which is pretty good. But he said that the plot was lacking. It was just a comic book plot.
The reason that he knocked off half a star was because he was like, Brandon Lee isn't returning my calls for an interview. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, but what he did compliment was that
and his dad's not returning my calls either.
It's a real world. Like they spent so much fucking time on creating a place that was imaginary and fantasy, like a comic book does. When you're a kid, you open a comic book and you're there. You're magically taken away out of your life. The Crow, the movie, does that with these sweeping shots of this imaginary city that's on fire. And as soon as it starts, you get sucked in. I'm fucking hammered. I'm just remembering what it did to me when I was a kid. When you watch it now, I just look at it and I analyze like, holy fuck, they must have spent fucking 8 months building all these miniatures and they cared so much about the visuals because they knew it was important. That's all. And as a filmmaker myself and as a DP myself, I appreciate it. The DP's name is long and weird. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but
his name is long and weird? That's a weird ass name.
Yeah, but he crushed it, dude. And the whole movie's great. Watch the fucking movie. Continue. Sorry, I'm done.
A year later, once again on Devil's Night, Eric Draven rises from his grave and goes on a killing spree, murdering anyone involved with the murder of his soon-to-be wife and all their friends too. So Eric Draven, now a PTSD-infested anti-superhero with the help of a magical crow, is basically invincible. Unfortunately, Brandon Lee was not.
No.
On March 31st, 1993, Brandon Lee was shot and killed during the filming of The Crow during his fucking death scene.
Yeah.
It was during... See, I thought that the scene that he got... where he got shot was when he was standing on the table and everybody's firing blanks at him. And,
yeah, that's what I thought too. I think they did that on purpose. I think they covered it up and doing more research too. Like, there are reviews I read from the time where people say that scene was completely cut out of the movie, and it was not.
So the shot where he is shot is still in the movie?
No, the actual there's the actual. So what? This is the part that goes into conspiracy theory bullshit stuff, sort of, just like his daddy, but. There's conflicting versions of what actually happened, and there's conflicting versions of the footage in the movie and how he died. In the movie, he walks into the room and Tintin throws a knife and stabs him in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls the knife out, and then they throw him out the window. In the original script, in the original scene that was shot that killed him, he walks in and he gets shot as he walks in. And there's a shot in the movie. I just watched it, so I was paying attention to this after the research.
Mm-hmm.
There's one shot in the movie where he opens the door and he's all happy, you know, and it cuts, and then it's a bunch of it. It's all done in flashbacks, so everything's choppy. They can get away with hiding anything they want, and you just see a shot of Tintin throw a knife, and then he's on the ground, and he pulls. It's a shot where you don't see his face at all, and he pulls a knife out of his own chest, and then he gets thrown out a window.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe there's a clip from the take that killed him when he walks in the door, because the original scene was he walks in and they just shoot him in the chest because someone breaks in while they're raping his girl.
Mm-hmm. In
the movie, he walks in, they laugh at him, they slap him, and they stab him with a knife, and then they fuck with him and kick him a few times and throw him out the window. So I don't actually know. No one really fucking knows, and we'll get into this part of it later.
According to these notes right here, Brandon was killed by a revolver. In the actual death scene, he is stabbed in the chest he's stabbed in the chest with a knife by Tintin, but you can clearly see that the character Funboy is holding a revolver.
Yes.
So apparently a fragment of a dummy shell had become lodged in the barrel of the revolver, so when they fired the gun off, again with the squib, it shot the fragment out of the barrel with the same force as a live round. Brandon Lee died on the operating table after 6 hours of emergency surgery. 6 hours for a dummy round? Pussy. Brandon Lee had plans to marry his fiancée just weeks after the movie was set to be finished. Brandon Lee died while making a movie. His father, Bruce Lee, also died while making a movie. Bruce Lee, obviously worthy of an entire episode all of his own, needs no introduction. He is considered to be the most influential martial artist of all time and a pop culture icon. I dare say Jean-Claude Van Damme is a bit more influential than him, at least made more movies. On June 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee died from a brain edema possibly caused by a prescription painkiller. Much like his son, he died before he could see the success of his work.
Okay, we have to...
Similar to Franz Kafka also, and Edgar Allan Poe, and Vincent van Gogh.
So we have to go into this a little bit. It needs to be talked about because everyone thinks... Well, not everyone, but there's a huge world of people thinking that Bruce Lee was murdered. Right? And a lot of people think that the same happened to Brandon Lee. And the Bruce Lee case... I spent maybe 2 hours looking into it. I'm like, no, we'll do this when we do a Bruce Lee episode.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Tarantino is, I think, very clear saying no. But also will say in the same sentence that, yeah, he was tied to the triads and he was involved in all this shit and he had a shit ton of money and was a crazy bastard. But no, it was just a bad day. But his wife gave him a pill and it killed him. And it wasn't like the parts that make me feel weird about it is it's the same pills he's been always taking for his headaches. And then anything you read is it was a bad prescription drug that he took, and he had an allergic reaction to it, causing his brain to swell to kill him. But it's the same medication that he had been on for years. So that doesn't make any sense. Suddenly he was allergic to it.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't really make sense. And then when you look into that, they're like, no, it's this, and the medication might have been changed. There's a million pages that will make you believe the bullshit.
Mm.
And then, I mean, the bullshit of it being a murder is also bullshit too. But I don't think his wife would give him a pill that could possibly kill him. And from what I read is he had one other big emergency where he was passing out and felt shitty and his head hurt so fucking bad, like migraine level shit. And he went to the doctor. This was like a year before. And they were like, your brain's swelling. So here's medication to keep your brain from swelling. You're rich. Wouldn't you have all the things necessary to have that under control? He wasn't a crazy person. He wasn't a drug addict. He wasn't a drunk. He wasn't a partier. He wasn't a cheater. He wasn't the typical fucking Hollywood crazy guy. He was obsessed with martial arts and like he was like a Joe Rogan fighter character that happened to go into movies, you know. So there wasn't like, oh, he fucked up and got hammered and killed himself one day.
Being rich and having a personal doctor worked really well for Michael Jackson, so I don't see why it would turn out bad for Bruce Lee.
I think Michael Jackson was ready to go. I think that's a little different.
Yeah, okay.
Because there was no doctor there. He didn't have a personal doctor. It was just his prescription drugs his wife gave him.
Also, Bruce Lee wasn't being charged with being a pedophile.
Yeah.
That we know of. Yet.
No. And also, it was during filming a movie, just like his son. And then the shit with his son, the Bruce Lee shit I didn't go into, but I bet you I could rip that apart too just because I'm a filmmaker. The Brandon Lee death is so utterly fucking absurd that I am 30% accident, 70% somebody shoved something in there to kill him. It just doesn't make sense. There's no, when you know how film works and how scenes work and how shooting angles, there is just no possible way. It's like the shit with the recent
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin shit. Like, the only reason why the DP died is because she was in the angle of where the gun was being shot. There was no actor there. You know why? Because they weren't on camera. That's the thing with the Brandon Lee thing mixed with the Bruce Lee thing. You have to. There's got to be more to it, or there's nothing to it. But it's worth thinking about because when you shoot a scene like the Alec Baldwin thing, if it was the Crow thing, then the actor that he was shooting would have been killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how do you shoot a movie? When someone shoots a gun, you film them, then you cut, then you change angles, and then you shoot, and then you film the guy getting shot. It's not the same shot.
So it doesn't make sense having the actor being shot.
Why would the actor be
camera.
off camera standing there with a live even with a blank or a squib? You have to wear, as a filmmaker, you're supposed to wear a lead fucking suit.
Mm-hmm.
This is before the recent one too. This is just the case. Even in my experience, I've worn a blast shield and a lead vest while shooting blanks. That's just standard. So even if they wanted, like, if Fun Boy, who shot him and killed fucking Brandon Lee, who actually lived a miserable life since and died at a young age also, we'll get into that later, they would never have someone point a gun at an actor off camera and shoot him. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
That's not even a... That's
You
not
couldn't even do that on a
it-
short film.
It's not even entirely a safety thing. Like, cash is king on a film set. Like, anytime an actor's on camera, it costs more money to have them there than if you need somebody for the actor to... Like, if you need a physical person, a real person, for some fucking reason to aim at off camera,
Yeah.
you're just going to have a stand-in.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. Brandon Lee was already pretty famous at the time. He was Bruce Lee's son. He made a movie with Dolph Lundgren before that.
I mean, they could have a tennis ball on a stick off camera.
And from the way that I saw that the scene was shot, it was shot as a flashback. It's all close-ups, weird angles, and there was no reason for him to even be there. So it doesn't make sense to me. And I know this is going into, like, conspiracy theory bullshit. But
that is,
but it's
fucking weird though.
Yeah, and the amount, if you go into a deep dive of Bruce Lee being murdered for being famous and rich and involved in crazy shit, there's so much shit. It's Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee dying on set together is equal to, like, well, it's not quite as, it's the same bullshit like 9/11. Like, there's so much shit that would be like, oh, okay, yeah, of course it was faked. But then there's plenty of shit that's like, no, what's it called?
The Crow was an inside job.
Well, what's it called? Razor's Edge? No, that's
Occam's Razor.
Yeah, Occam's Razor is like, no, they fucked up on set. But you dig a little bit into it and just think about it for a minute, you're like, come on, what the fuck? Why was he standing there?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that if he's off camera, it does not make sense to have...
If he was on camera, they wouldn't point a gun at him off camera either.
Yeah. No, that...
Why did he get shot?
I'll give that to you. That's really fucking weird.
With Alec Baldwin, he shot the fucking DP. That makes sense. That was a mistake. That was negligence, bullshit, fucking partying, drinking, smoking, jacking, fucking.
And from what I hear, she was a
set.
bit of an uppity bitch.
And
No
he
disrespect
aimed
to her.
left of camera and shot the DP. That actually makes sense. And if it was the same situation as the Crow with a faulty thing or some bullshit misfired and he shot the DP, that makes sense that she would be there.
Or if they would,
I would be there.
If they would have just shot a PA, because I mean PAs, they're a fucking dime a dozen on a film set. Like you can
Get
you can
another
kill
one,
them
like
just
the
for
one that
fun.
got ran over by a train. Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh no, she was an AC. Those are much more expensive.
Yeah, they cost a little bit more. Anyway, sorry about the rant, but it just doesn't make sense that he was accidentally shot. It just doesn't add up. Unless they're just all fucking stupid, and they're not.
Well, so why was The Crow made?
Okay, sorry.
Because of a
Done.
comic book made by a man by the name of James O'Barr. James created the comic book series as a means of dealing with the sudden death of his fiancée. The comic book became an underground success, then became a film. Then that film had 3 sequels, I dare say 3 of which were terrible. A television series and numerous books and comic books. O'Barr's original comic has been translated into almost a dozen languages, which I didn't even know there were that many languages in the world.
There's only 3, but so I don't know what that. It's just Google search,
English, bad English,
English and
Dutch, Spanish?
English.
Dutch.
No, Dutch English. That's when Arnold is the character Dutch from Predator.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so no, that would. Okay, so there's at least 4 languages. There's English, bad English, Dutch English, and
Arnold
Spanish.
English.
Well, no, that was the Dutch. Well, no, he's Austrian, so that's not even.
No, well, there's Dutch English, which is the character Dutch.
The character
and
Dutch.
then there's
then,
Arnold English, which is almost identical, but there's a slight differentiation depending on which film.
How many other languages are there that we don't know about?
Austrian, which is Arnold's native language.
Oh no, that's what Margot Robbie speaks.
Yeah, fucking ugly bitch.
O'Barr made the comic in hopes that it would help him cope with the loss of his fiancée. Instead, it seemed to make things worse. Here's a quote. As I drew each page, it made me more self-destructive. If anything, there is pure anger on each page. The filmmakers, in some cases, literally translate the comic strips directly to the screen, shot by shot. Like everyone involved in the film, O'Barr was heavily affected by the passing of Brandon Lee. If O'Barr never made the comic book, Brandon Lee would still be alive. Mm-hmm. Fucking murderer. The actor that actually pulled the trigger, Michael Massey, was fucking devastated, causing him to take a lengthy sabbatical. Massey was never the same again. Years later, he attempted to start up acting again, but just didn't have the juice anymore. He died in 2016 from stomach cancer at 64 years old. Brandon Lee was 28 years old when he passed, leaving behind his fiancée, Eliza Hutton. Bruce Lee was 32 years old when he passed, leaving behind his wife and 2 kids. Bruce Lee had kids?
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah. James O'Barr lost his fiancée at the approximate age of 18. How old was he when...
They were both in their teens, early 20s. I was trying to find the actual age, but it was hard to find. Because he joined right when she... Like, literally, they were in love. She died by a drunk driver accident.
That marriage was doomed from the start.
True, but because of it, she got in a wreck. A drunk driver killed her. He lost his fucking mind. He was an artist guy, dorky guy. Didn't know what to do. Joined the army. Fought in a war. While in the military, not the army. I don't know what faction, but joined the military.
What war was he fighting in? Like Desert Storm?
I don't know whatever it was, but he saw some crazy shit, and he was making the comic book the whole time while he was in the military.
Oh, Grenada.
It was probably World Trade Center war.
He fought in a
Vietnam.
He fought from an escape
No,
from
it
New
was
York.
World War II. That's what it was. Back in 1986. Yes. But anyway, whatever. He joined the military just out of like an impulse. Maybe he wasn't in a war. I don't know. The war is not the important part. But what was crazy is he had his whole life
Hey,
planned
tell
out.
that to the veterans.
Yeah. God bless him.
Okay, so the actual.
Jesus Christ. Let me just try to say this.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you
He
see how hard it is.
I lost it. It doesn't matter. Because of him, he killed Brandon Lee.
Because of his fiance dying.
Yeah, the comic book to him, this is the part. The comic book's awesome. I read through a bunch of it. It's a series. It's a lot. There's a shit ton. But the parts I looked through while researching, it's awesome. But for him, it's not awesome. For him, it is like the shit that I did when my mom died. Like where I was like drawing weird things in my journal. I don't have a journal anymore, but I had a journal at the time. And I was just like fucking pissed. And I blamed her ex-husband at the time, this guy named Jim, fucking bitch. If I ever see him, I'll kill him anyway. But I thought he did it and all this stuff, and I was dark in a deep, dark place. And I didn't figure out a way to channel that energy. I just fucked my life up for a couple of years. This guy made The Crow while in that state. And he hates it. Like he thought it would help him, and it made it worse. He spent his time in the military. He joined the military because he lost his girl. He would be like, I was so obsessed with her to the point where now I know that it was wasn't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, maybe it wasn't healthy. I don't care. Either way, that's where I was. Like, I was so obsessed with her, and she just died instantly. And he made this fucking weird thing, this comic book, because he was a kid. He was a teenager, and joined the military, and was going through that torture at the same time while losing his girl, who was going to marry, making this comic book, and then it kills somebody. You know.
I mean,
Anyway,
it killed two people. It killed that Massey guy also.
yeah, but yeah, exactly, and it's going to kill again. But I just think that it's just that dumb energy, spiritual shit that nobody can put their finger on.
Well, after years and years of turning down a remake, it looks like they finally convinced James O'Barr to come back for another The Crow. And I wonder who that bastard is going to kill next.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's wrap it up for this episode because it's later than I was expecting. What time is it now? Oh, yeah, way past my bedtime.
8 o'clock.
It's 8:45. Thank you very much. So anyway, you can follow us on Instagram at Iconoblast Podcast. You can follow me at Coop Newcomb. You can follow Joel at Joel R. Benner. Don't forget to subscribe to the Iconoblast Podcast YouTube channel. It's no longer the Drinking Bros YouTube channel. We got some plans for new content to go on there. Softcore history is no longer a part of the channel.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of miss it. But
older
I mean,
episodes that they did on the channel are
they're
still there.
on there.
You can still watch all the ones they did till they moved to their own channel. But yeah, just search Iconoblast on YouTube and watch all our shit. See our dumb faces, or just listen to us.
Yeah, either or. Just tell your friends about us. Tell your family about us. Don't tell the FBI about us because I think they're currently looking for us right now. You can use some pseudonyms or something like that. But anyway, we'll see you all next week. Until then, my name is Matt Cooper.
I'm Gabe Benner.
And we are reminding you to never take anything at face value.